The city lights stretched beneath us like fallen stars, but all I could focus on was her eyes. "You like the view, baby?" she asked, fingers brushing mine across the linen-draped table. Her red dress shimmered in the candlelight, clinging to her like heat. I nodded, unable to find the words. I'd been to rooftop dinners before, sure, but never like this. Never with someone looking at me like I was the only man alive. "I like you more than the view," I said, my voice cracking a little. She smiled, leaned closer. "Then kiss me like you mean it." I did. I kissed her slowly and she didn't pull away. Not like the last woman, not like my ex-wife, who used to flinch when I reached for her in bed. This was different. Nok leaned into me, warm, soft, real. Or so I thought. When I pulled back, her hands were already on her wine glass. "I told my mom about you," she said, sipping. "She's happy. She says you have kind face." I laughed. "That's a first?" She giggled. "No. Really, Thai women, we feel with heart. You are gentle man, not like others." I wanted to believe her. God help me, I already did. "What did you tell her about me?" I asked. Nok tilted her head. "That you're retired, kind, sweet. That you make me feel safe." My chest ached, somewhere between joy and disbelief. After 25 years of being invisible, of being a paycheck, a chore, a burden, here was this stunning woman, 35 years younger, looking at me like I mattered. "You make me feel lucky," I whispered. "I thought I came here to get away, but maybe I came here to find you." Nok reached across the table, brushing my cheek with her thumb. "I feel same, baby. You don't know how many bad men I meet before. They think I'm toy. You bring flower, you listen, you look me in eye." I laughed, rubbing the back of my neck. "I'm not perfect, Nok." Her smile softened. "Perfect for me." I felt something in that moment I hadn't felt in years. Hope. Maybe I wasn't broken. Maybe I still had time. "Can I ask you something?" I said. She nodded. "Are you sure this isn't too fast? We've only been seeing each other for a few weeks." Nok leaned in again, her perfume mixing with the night air. "Fast is okay when feeling is real. Why wait when you know?" I wanted to say yes. Hell, I wanted to say forever. Instead, I looked out at the skyline, heart pounding. It's been a long time since someone said something like that to me. "My marriage?" I trailed off. She didn't push, just reached for my hand. "She not see you, I do." That did it. That cracked something wide open inside me. I tightened my fingers around hers. "I want to be good to you," I said. "I don't know how all this works here, but I want to do it right." Nok laughed. "You already doing right, just be you." The waiter came, set down 2 plates, sea bass and curry. I barely tasted a bite. My eyes stayed on her the whole time. The way she moved, the way she talked. It was like she'd studied the parts of me no one else had cared to notice. When the check came, I paid without thinking. She thanked me 3 times, kissed my cheek, and said, "Next time, I cook for you, okay?" I smiled. "That's a deal." We walked down together, her arm hooked in mine. On the street, she paused beneath a lantern and looked up. "You believe in fate, baby?" I nodded slowly. "Yeah, I think I do now." She kissed me again. Slow, intentional. No rush. Just the heat of the moment, the buzz of Bangkok traffic, and the sound of something breaking open inside me. I didn't know it yet, but that kiss would be the high point. That would be the moment I'd replay again and again when everything fell apart. But that night, all I knew was this: I was in love, or something dangerously close to it. The first time I saw her, she was wiping down a table in the back corner of that little jazz bar in Chiang Mai. The place had a cracked wooden sign and a saxophone player who only knew 4 songs, but the whiskey was cheap and the air was quiet. I didn't go there looking for anything. I just wanted a place to sit where no one knew me. She brought over my drink with both hands, smiled softly, and said, "You sit alone like writer." I chuckled. "That obvious?" She nodded. "You think too much, your eyes tired." I didn't know what to say, so I just raised my glass. "To tired eyes, then." I tipped her well that night, not to impress her, just because I could. When I came back the next evening, she remembered. "Whiskey, yes?" I nodded. You remembered? She smiled. You quiet but kind, I like that. Her name tag said Knock. I asked if that was her real name. Nickname, she said. Everyone has nickname. Real name is long. You call me Knock, baby. She laughed when she said it like it was just a joke. But I felt something then, something soft opening up in me. I came back a third time, then a fourth. Soon it became our place. She'd sit with me after her shift. We talked, not like tourists do, real talk, about family, about loneliness. She asked about my kids. I told her we weren't close. She didn't judge, she just nodded. Sometimes family is just people who stay. One night I stayed until closing. She brought me a plate of fried rice from the back. Eat, she said. You look skinny. I laughed. I'm 63, Knock. At my age, skinny's all I got left. She touched my hand, real gentle. You still handsome. I looked at her then, really looked. She wasn't flashy like the girls near the clubs. No heavy makeup, no fake lashes, just clear eyes, tired but kind. Why are you nice to me? I asked. She tilted her head. Because you nice to me. It was the simplest answer in the world, and I believed it. One night after her shift, we sat on the curb outside the bar, watching a dog chase a plastic bag down the road. She told me about her mother. Bad legs, can't work. Her younger brother, 17, still in school. I pay everything, she said. Rent, food, medicine. No one help. I looked at her hands, the way she wrung them as she spoke. I could feel the pride in her voice. She wasn't begging, she was just telling me the truth. How long have you been working here? I asked. 3 years. I used to work in massage. Men touch too much. I come here, better life. I nodded, not knowing what to say. Do you like it here? She shrugged. Not dream job, but I meet you here, so maybe not so bad. That stuck with me. I wasn't used to being wanted without conditions. Back home I was a ghost, a retiree in a too small condo with many regrets. But here with Knock I felt necessary, seen. You're not like the others, I said one night. She raised her eyebrows. Other Thai girls? I shook my head. No, I mean, just other people. You make me feel like I matter. She touched my arm, softer this time. You do matter, baby, to me. I started walking her home after shifts. Just a few blocks, but I liked the quiet. One night it rained hard. She invited me up to wait it out. Her apartment was small. One room, thin mattress, a fan that wheezed louder than it spun. But it was clean, tidy. Pictures of her mother and brother on the wall. A little Buddha statue near the window. She made me tea and sat close. Why you retire here? She asked. I told her the truth. I was tired of feeling invisible. I needed something new. A place that didn't remind me of everything I lost. She didn't say anything for a while. Then she looked at me, really looked. I think maybe I was waiting for you. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay there on her thin mattress, fully clothed, listening to the fan rattle and my heart pound. It wasn't lust, it was something slower, deeper, a craving for connection, for meaning. I didn't touch her. I just stared at the ceiling, thinking maybe, just maybe, I'd found someone who saw through all the dust I carried. Someone who wanted me anyway. I don't remember exactly how it came up. We were sitting on that plastic couch in her apartment, fans spinning overhead, our legs touching just enough to feel like something. She was scrolling through her phone, sighing softly. I asked what was wrong. She shrugged. Nothing, baby, just landlord angry, rent late again. I looked at her. How much? She shook her head. No, I not ask you, I take care. Just stress, I talk to him. I hesitated. I can help, it's okay. She gave me this look, half grateful, half guilty. Only this time, okay? Just help this once. I nodded. Yeah, just this once. She stayed with me that night. Not just stayed, slept next to me, held me like I was worth something. In the morning, she made scrambled eggs and coffee, humming some Thai pop song while barefoot in my kitchen. You like sugar? She asked, waving the spoon. Only from you, I said. She giggled, leaned in, and kissed my cheek. You are funny, baby. I watched her move around my place like she belonged there. For the first time in years, the silence in my home didn't feel heavy. It felt full. She sat across from me, eating from my plate, telling me how she always wanted to visit the beach. Hua Hin is nice, she said. Not too far. Good food, good view. We go sometime? I smiled. Let's do it. She planned everything. Booked the hotel, picked the restaurants, even made an itinerary on her phone. You just relax, she said. I handle. When we got there, she wore a floral dress that danced in the wind, and I couldn't stop staring. On the beach, she called me baby in front of everyone, held my hand in the market, took selfies with me, her head on my shoulder. You happy? She asked. I was. God help me, I really was. That night in the hotel, we talked until 2 in the morning. She told me about her dreams, opening a cafe, sending her brother to university. I told her I'd help however I could. She kissed me slow and said, You good man, baby, not like others. The next morning, she handed me a folded piece of paper. Just hotel and food, she said. I put on my card, but you pay me later, okay? I opened it. It wasn't outrageous, but it wasn't nothing either. I blinked. You booked everything on your own card? She nodded. I want to show you I take care, but I trust you. So now you take care too. I smiled a little tight, but said, Of course. I handed her cash right there. She kissed my cheek again. See, we team. On the way back, I kept telling myself it was fine. I'd paid for dinners with my ex-wife for 25 years. This was different. Nok was grateful. Sweet. She gave, back in ways that weren't about money. She stayed the next few nights, kept saying, I feel safe with you. I liked hearing that. I needed to hear that. Do you want to move in? I asked once, half joking. She laughed. Too fast, baby, but maybe soon. At dinner one night, she reached for my hand. You feel okay? I nodded. Yeah, just tired. Long walk today. She tilted her head. You need massage. I call my friend. She come to apartment. Good price? I laughed. Are you my girlfriend or my secretary? She smiled. Both, baby. Then she leaned in, whispering, I want to take care of you. But sometimes you take care of me too. I started carrying extra cash, just in case. Small things, groceries, her phone bill, a new dress she liked. She always said thank you, always kissed me after. I told myself that meant something. I didn't. Feel used? Not yet. Maybe I was just grateful to matter to someone again. You okay, baby? She'd ask whenever I got quiet. I'd smile and say, Of course, just thinking. She never pushed. But sometimes, late at night, I'd lie in bed and wonder what I'd started. I told myself it was love, it felt like love. But I'd also just paid for 4 nights in a hotel I hadn't chosen, a dinner I didn't order, and a woman who kept calling me baby right before handing me receipts. Still, I kissed her goodnight and said, Let me know if you ever need anything. She smiled wide and whispered, You already give me everything I need. I wanted that to be true. I needed it to be true. She was always on that phone, not just once in a while, always. At dinner, she'd smile at me, nod along, but the screen stayed in her hand like it was glued there. Who are you always texting? I asked once, trying to sound casual. She looked up, unfazed. My cousin, she said. He's sick, I help with medicine. I nodded slowly. You're close with him. She shrugged. Family is family, baby. I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. But something in the way she looked past me instead of at me started to gnaw at my stomach. That night I bought her favorite dessert, those little coconut puddings she liked, and set them on the kitchen counter before hopping into the shower. I left the door cracked, humming to myself, steam rising around me. Then I heard it. Her phone buzzed twice, then again. I didn't mean to look, I swear I didn't. But it lit up, face up on the counter, and the message was right there in bright white letters. Did he give it yet? My heart dropped. I stepped out, still dripping, grabbed a towel and walked out like nothing happened. She was slicing mango. Who messaged you? I asked, drying my arms. She didn't even look up. Oh, friend. Just joke. What kind of joke? I asked. She turned, smiled, kissed my cheek. Nothing, baby. He teasing me. You worry too much. I didn't say anything for a minute. My thoughts were tangled. That sick feeling in my chest wouldn't go away. You sure it's nothing? She rolled her eyes, soft and slow, like I was a child. You don't trust me. I'm trying. To, I said, but it's hard when I see messages like that. She folded her arms. You want to read all my chats? You think I lie? No, I said too quickly. Look, I've been lied to before, okay? She sighed, walked up, pressed her forehead against mine. I'm not your ex-wife. I love you. Why you always think bad? That line hit hard. I stepped back, sat on the edge of the bed. It's not just that, I muttered. It's the receipts, the calls, the constant money stuff. It's starting to feel like, I trailed off. She sat beside me. Like what? I hesitated, looked down at my hands. Like maybe I'm your ATM, not your man. She went quiet, for too long. Then she stood. You think I stay for money? No, I said, too fast again. I'm just trying to understand what this is. She scoffed. I stay every night, I cook, I love you, I say baby every day. You think I do all that for money? No, I mean, then stop, she snapped. You insult me. She grabbed her bag. I go home. I didn't stop her. I just sat there, wet towel in my lap, staring at the half-sliced mango on the counter. The next morning she texted, Sorry I get angry, I just tired, love you baby. I stared at the message for 5 minutes before replying, Come over tonight? She came, like nothing happened, brought me soup, watched a movie, with me, fell asleep on my chest, but something stayed broken inside me. I tried to shake it, told myself I was being paranoid, told myself it was just cultural differences. You okay, baby? She whispered, fingers on my arm. Yeah, I lied. Just tired. She kissed me, then rolled over. The next few days were good. She laughed more, let me hold her hand in public, made me feel like maybe I was just overthinking. But the phone never left her hand. Calls came late at night, in the bathroom, outside the balcony. Every time I asked, it was the same answer. Just cousin. One night I said, You have a lot of cousins. She smiled without warmth. Big family. I let it go. I didn't want to push her away. I didn't want to be alone again. But the doubt grew louder. I started checking my wallet before bed. I started noticing how every conversation somehow ended with a bill, a favor, a ride somewhere. She'd say, You love me, right? And I'd nod before I even thought. I wasn't sure if I was in love or just afraid of losing what we had, whatever it was. One night I said, Can we go somewhere without phones, just you and me? She laughed. You old-fashioned, baby. I just want to feel close again. She leaned in, kissed my cheek. You always close to me. Then she rolled over and scrolled through her messages. I lay there staring at the ceiling, wondering if closeness was something you could fake long enough to make someone stop asking questions. So I didn't want answers anymore. I just wanted to feel loved, even if I had to buy that feeling one day at a time. We'd just gotten back from Koh Samet. 3 nights, beachfront bungalow, seafood dinners, massages on the sand, cocktails at sunset, everything she said she'd dreamed of. I didn't hold back. I let her pick the place, let her order the wine, even let her buy those overpriced matching shirts from the market. She laughed when I put mine on. You look like tourist, baby. I am a tourist, I said. You just make me forget sometimes. She smiled, kissed me, slipped her arm around mine. Because I love you. When we got home, she unpacked fast. I was tired, so I sank into the couch. My feet still felt like they were on that rocking ferry. She came over holding a small white envelope. Baby, she said soft. I just make list for trip. You said you cover, remember? I sat up. List? She handed it to me. Neatly written, itemized. Hotel deposit, scooter rental, her new swimsuit, dinner at that Italian place. Even snacks from 7-Eleven. The total circled at the bottom. My heart dropped. You're charging me? She tilted her head. No, baby, not charge. Just remind. You said I take care of everything, so I write down so you don't forget. I stared at the numbers. I thought we were just having a trip together, as a couple. She didn't blink. Couples still share cost. I plan everything. I book. You think my time is free? I never said that, I replied, voice dry. But handing me a bill, that's not love. That's a transaction. She sat down beside me. You want me to be honest, right? So I honest. You say you take care. Now I just remind you. Looked at her. Really looked. Her face didn't move. No guilt, no shame. Just calm, cool expectation. What is this, Knock? I asked. Is this a relationship, or am I paying for time with you? Her eyes narrowed. Why you say like that? You think I prostitute? I don't know what to think anymore, I said. It's starting to feel like every good moment comes with a price tag. She stood up, arms crossed. You disrespect me. You think I use you, but who buy tickets? Who make reservation? Who cook for you when you're sick? I rubbed my forehead. I never said you didn't do those things. Her voice rose. Then why you make me feel small? Like I beg for money. I give you love. I stay with you. I say baby every day. You think I fake? I think I'm confused, I said. I'm starting to question what any of this really is. She stepped closer. You want me to go? My chest tightened. No. Then stop fighting, she snapped. Pay what you said. We move on. My hand trembled as I pulled out the cash. I didn't argue. I didn't even count it. I handed it over because I couldn't handle the idea of her walking out. She took it, kissed my forehead and said, Cook dinner now, okay? Like nothing had happened. I watched her disappear into the kitchen. The smell of garlic hit the air a few minutes later. She even hummed while chopping. But something in me cracked. I sat there holding the empty envelope, feeling like a fool. I told myself she was different, that this wasn't about money, that she loved me. And maybe she did, in her own way. Or maybe she just loved what I could give. I didn't know anymore. But I knew one thing for sure, love shouldn't come with a receipt. And I had one sitting right there on the coffee table, mocking everything I thought we had. The first night she didn't come over, I told myself it was just traffic. Bangkok at rush hour can feel like a slow death. I sent her a text. You okay? No reply. Another hour passed. I called, straight to voicemail. Maybe her phone died, I told myself. Maybe she's with her mum. I heated up some leftover noodles and ate alone at the table we used to squeeze around together. Her slippers were still by the door. Her toothbrush still leaned next to mine. The second night, still nothing. No call, no message, just silence. I scrolled through old pictures. Her holding that goofy lobster hat from Hua Hin, her leaning over my shoulder while I tried to cut durian, her smile pressed into my neck. I stared at the last one, taken just 4 days earlier. She was laughing, or pretending to. I couldn't tell anymore. I texted again, just let me know you're okay. On the third day I went looking. I started at the bar where we met. I hadn't been back in weeks. The place hadn't changed. The same guy playing the same off-key saxophone, and there she was, leaning against the doorframe in a short blue dress, talking to another foreigner. Tall guy, maybe German, younger than me. She had her hand on his arm, laughing at something he said. My stomach twisted. I stood across the street like an idiot, half in shadow, waiting for her to notice me. She did. Her eyes flicked up, saw me, and she smiled. Not a guilty smile, not even a nervous one, just polite. She waved, like I was a neighbor. Then she walked over like nothing was wrong. Hey, baby, she said. I miss you. I couldn't believe it. You've been gone 3 days. She nodded. Family problem. Very busy. Sorry. You couldn't text? I asked. I worried. She shrugged. Too much happening. My cousin's sick. My brother have problem with school. And that guy? I asked, jerking my chin toward the man behind her. She looked back. Friend from Singapore. I help him find hotel. No big deal. I stood there, heart in my throat. Are we still together? She laughed. Why you ask like that? Because you disappeared. She touched my arm, light and fast. Don't think too much, baby. I call you tonight, okay? I didn't believe her, but I nodded. Yeah, okay. She didn't call. That night, I sat on the couch, phone in hand, watching the screen stay dark. I didn't sleep. I kept checking the balcony, listening for her knock. At sunrise, I made her favorite eggs anyway, just in case. I threw them away cold at noon. The pattern started slow. She'd come over once a week, then every other week, always with an excuse. My mom need me. I busy at bar. Too tired to travel tonight, baby. Each time I asked, she smiled and kissed me and said, next time, okay? My fridge stayed full of ingredients she never cooked. Her tea packets sat unopened. Her side of the bed stayed empty. One night I tried calling her 3 times, no answer. I sent one last message. I miss you. No reply. I turned my phone off, dropped it on the nightstand and just stared at the ceiling. The fan creaked. Above me. The silence in the apartment was suffocating. I used to play music when she was here. Now the speakers stayed off. I stopped buying groceries. I stopped shaving. Every little thing reminded me of her. The spoon she liked. The sandals. By the door. The charger cord she always misplaced. I told myself I was overreacting. That she just needed space. That this was how life worked here. But deep down I knew something was ending. Or had already ended. The worst part wasn't her leaving. It was her silence. The way she vanished without closing the door behind her. Like I was a chapter she forgot to finish. I kept waiting. Kept hoping. But she wasn't coming back. Not tonight. Maybe not ever. And I still wasn't ready to let go. I asked her to meet me at the coffee shop down the block. The one with the yellow chairs and slow fan. It was quiet, out of the way, no saxophones or tourists. I got there early, sat near the window, ordered her favorite iced milk tea and a black coffee for myself. I watched the door every time it opened. When she finally walked in, I stood up, like an idiot. She didn't smile, just sat across from me like we were strangers filling out a bank form. I slid the tea toward her. Thanks, she said, not touching it. I looked at her, really looked. I need to ask you something, I said. She folded her arms. Okay. My voice came out tighter than I wanted. Was any of it real? She blinked. What you mean? This, I said. Us. The relationship. The love. The late nights. The kisses. The breakfasts. Was any of it real for you? She looked away, out the window, down at her hands, then finally back at me. You paid, she said. I stayed. That was the deal. I didn't breathe for a second. The deal? She nodded. You give money, I give time. I not lie to you. I felt like I'd been punched through the chest. You said you loved me. I say many things, she said. I say what make you happy. So none of it meant anything? I asked, voice shaking. The nights we laughed? The things you told me about your mom, your brother? She shrugged. Still true, but also part of job. My hands were clenched under the table. It wasn't a job to me, Knock. It was my life. She sipped the tea now. Finally. I not force you. No, I said. You didn't. I gave it willingly. I just didn't know I was buying something. She set the glass down. I try to be kind. You lonely. I help. You help me too. We both get something. I looked at her. I didn't want something, I wanted someone. I thought it was love. She sighed. I say love because you need to hear it, that not lie, that comfort. The words kept hitting harder than I could take. I gave you everything, I whispered. My time, my money, my heart. Over 20 grand. Rent, bills, your brother's school, your tooth surgery, the trip to Koh Samet. I didn't ask for anything back but honesty. She finished her drink. You have money. I have need. That how this works here. I felt sick. You could have just told me the truth. She stared flatly. You would have left. Maybe I should have, I said. Maybe I should have the moment you called me baby the first night. She stood up. You want thank you? Or sorry? I can say both if help. I didn't move. I don't want anything from you. Not anymore. She nodded. Then we finish, yes? I nodded back. Yeah, we're finished. She walked out. No hug, no kiss, no backward glance. I sat there long after the fan stopped turning. long after the ice melted in my untouched coffee. The shame burned hotter than the betrayal. I hadn't been tricked. I'd closed my own eyes. I'd wanted to believe so badly that someone could love me again, that someone did, that I ignored every warning. I didn't lose money. I lost pieces of myself I'd only just started to rebuild. I paid. She stayed. That was the deal. But the part of me that believed in love, that's what never came back. I hadn't planned on going back there. But the nights were too quiet, and the silence in my apartment felt like it had teeth. So I walked, just to move. Ended up near the jazz bar where it all started. The lights were softer than I remembered. The music still out of tune. Familiar faces behind the bar. But it was the laugh that stopped me. Hers. Knock's laugh. Sharp, sweet, practiced. I stayed in the shadows, half hidden behind a potted plant. That hadn't been watered in weeks. She was at the far end of the bar, her hand on a man's arm. He looked older than me. Balding, sunburned, wide-eyed like I must have looked back then. She leaned close, whispered something, and he laughed like he'd been given a gift. I heard her say it. "You so sweet, baby." My stomach twisted. I thought I'd feel rage. Or pain. But mostly I felt nothing. Just this hollow echo where hope used to be. The same lines, the same touch, the same routine. "You want another drink, baby?" she said, brushing his hand, and he nodded like she was the first person who'd ever touched him. I stood there too long. A familiar voice broke the spell. Tony, an expat I used to chat with over beers, leaned next to me. "Didn't expect to see you here," he said. I nodded. "Didn't expect to be here." He followed my eyes. "Ah. You saw?" "Yeah," I said, "hard to miss." He sighed. "You weren't the first man, won't be the last. She's good at it." I didn't answer. "Look," he said, "she's not evil. Just doing what she knows. Most of these guys, hell, most of us, we walk in thinking we're different, that we matter more." "She used to call me baby," I murmured. Tony snorted. "She calls everybody baby." I looked down. I believed her. "We all do, that's how it works." He clapped my shoulder once, then walked off. I stayed, watching her feed that man the same smile, the same tilt of her head, the same soft lies. He reached into his wallet. She took it gently, like it was sacred, then kissed his cheek. My chest didn't hurt. It buzzed like a numb limb waking up. The illusion wasn't just broken, it had been mass-produced, wasn't chosen. I was next. I turned and walked away, didn't say goodbye, didn't look back. The night air felt heavier somehow, or maybe I was just finally breathing for the first time in weeks. I'd spent so long trying to be seen, to be loved, that I didn't notice I'd become a customer with feelings, and she was just doing her job. Nothing personal, nothing real. Somewhere deep inside, a switch flipped. Not anger, not closure, just clarity. I wasn't the first man she made feel special, and I sure as hell wasn't the last. But maybe finally I was done being one of them. The room was quiet, just the soft hum of the fan and the slow tick of the cheap clock above the stove. I sat at the table, looking at what was left. Her pink toothbrush, a photo of us on that. Scooter in Hua Hin, a little wooden elephant she once said reminded her of her mother. I held it in my palm for a while, then set it down. "It wasn't all fake," I said out loud, just to hear something besides silence. It couldn't have been. I looked around the apartment, at the folded blanket she used to wrap around herself, the mugs we bought together, the cheap necklace I'd given her that she wore once and then never again. These weren't clues. They were artifacts, pieces of a story I told myself. I picked up the photo again. We were both smiling, not posed, not forced. I remembered that day. She'd reached back and grabbed my hand while I was driving. "Don't. Let go," she'd said. I didn't, and I still haven't. I opened my laptop, pulled up a blank document. I didn't know what I was writing at first. Then the words came. "This isn't a warning about her," I typed. "It's a warning about me." I stared at that line for a long time. I wanted it to be real. That was my mistake. I was the one who ignored the signs. I was the one who paid every bill, handed over every favor, smiled through every red flag. Not because she tricked me, because I needed to believe, I chose to. That's the part that stings the most. Not the money, not the lies, but the way I willingly gave myself to the dream. She didn't steal from me. I handed it all over, with open arms, open wallet, open heart. And when it fell apart, I sat in the wreckage wondering who broke it. But I already knew I wasn't a victim, I wrote. I was a volunteer. And that line, that one stuck. I'm not angry anymore. Not at her. She was who she said she was, even if she never said it out loud. The silence was honest. The avoidance was honest. The script, her script, was always playing. I just didn't want to read it. I closed the laptop and looked out the window. Same street, same people, different eyes. I can't say I'm better, but I'm awake. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's how healing starts, not with closure, not with revenge, but with the truth you finally stop running from. So this is mine. I loved her. I lost her. And I found myself in the wreckage she left behind.